So thank you all for joining us today for our info session for the Berkeley Master of Biotechnology program. And so I'm Sai-Ching Shi, and I'm the academic coordinator for the MBT program. And joining us today are some great students who have volunteered to help answer your questions. If you have any questions that come up while I'm presenting, you can feel free to use the Q&A feature to ask your questions, and our students, will help answer them. And we also have some dedicated time after the presentation to answer your questions live as well. And so today we'll be giving an overview of our program as well as going through the application process, to help you as you prepare your applications. And the goal for this info session is really to tell you a little bit more about our program. And then that way you can, make an informed decision as to whether our program aligns well with your future career goals. And so our hope is that, you'll walk away with a clear picture on how our program can help set you up to accomplish your goals. All right, so the general structure of our info session for today will be pretty straightforward. I'll go over our program, followed by, like a little walkthrough of the application process. And then at the end, we'll finish with a Q&A session where we'll answer some of your questions live. And as I mentioned before, if you have questions during this info session, please use the Q&A feature to ask your question. And also, if you would like to get to know some of our current students' perspectives, you can also feel free to ask those questions in the Q&A, and our students can help answer them. And then some of them they might answer live as well. So, you can just feel free to use the Q&A, and then you can ask your questions there. All right, so without further ado, I'm just going to go over sort of like, some general program information, and then that way you can like see if our program aligns well with sort of like what you want to do in your graduate studies. As you probably already heard today a bunch of times, our campus is located right in the SF Bay area, and we're only a short, approximately 30-minute drive away from SF. And as you can see in the image here, the SF Bay is in the background with SF, and our campus, our lovely campus here, is in the foreground. And the nice thing is that our campus has the benefit of being located at the heart of biotech innovation and within a major hub of life science research, with at least 4 major research institutions located here in the Bay Area. And if you take a look at this little graphic here, you can see that, UC Berkeley is located right here in the East Bay. And so from startups to multinational companies, we have the great fortune of being surrounded by hundreds of biotech companies. And like, for example, across the bay in South SF, there are over 200 biotech companies. And on our side of the bay, there's the Berkeley Emeryville Biocollective, which is comprised of, over 150 biotech companies. And even right here on campus, we have the Baker Bioingenuity Hub, which is host to biotech startups founded by faculty, graduate students, and postdocs. And in the Bay Area alone, there are over 60,000 life science employees and plenty of financial support in both from the federal government as well as from many venture capital firms. So like one of the really cool things about studying at UC Berkeley is that, we have the nice benefit of being intimately connected to a major hub of biotech and life science innovation. And our department helps to fuel this innovation as it ranks among the top molecular and cell biology programs in the US with high impact, innovative research led by world-class faculty. And our department's strength also comes from our diverse body of faculty, grad students, and postdocs that come from all over the world. And the research topics that our labs cover really span sort of like the breadth of modern biology, really pushing the envelope of our understanding of the field. And so, why pursue a Master of Biotechnology degree? So, biotech is a multi-billion-dollar industry with sustained investment of over $20 billion each year since like 2021. And this really highlights like the continued excitement for innovative and pioneering therapeutics and technologies. And the multifaceted nature of biotech businesses creates sort of like a unique need for people who not only have skills working in the lab and can understand the science, but also have like a keen understanding of the business and regulatory aspects of the industry. So our program aims to position you to be competitive as you launch your career along your desired trajectory, whether that is, as like a product manager, a clinical trial coordinator, like a regulatory compliance officer, or, as like a research associate, or even like just running core facilities. Our goal is to, act as a stepping stone as you prepare for the next stage of your career by strengthening your scientific and academic record through a mixture of practical training and hands-on coursework. And so we offer in-depth courses at the high caliber that UC Berkeley is known for, with the aim of strengthening both your technical skills as well as your conceptual understanding of biology. And then that way you're like prepared to jump into an industry career, or if you want, right, apply for graduate or medical school. And to meet this goal, we provide you with hands-on training in the form of core lab courses, lectures, electives, and seminars. And through this hands-on training, you'll begin to form a strong technical and theoretical foundation of biology. We then build upon that foundation through our program's internship program, where we provide you with the opportunity to work in a real lab setting, whether on campus or with one of our biotech partners. And the goal of these two components is not only to teach you all to think like scientists and to approach modern biological questions creatively with an eye for their therapeutic potential, but also to give you the opportunity to apply what you've learned in a real world setting through your internships. And all of this is like complemented with multiple career mentorship opportunities in order to help you identify and prepare for your next steps, as well as to help you achieve your career goals. So our program is a 1-year accelerated program with courses starting in early July. In the summer, what will happen is that you'll take an intensive molecular and cell biology lab bootcamp that'll bring you up to speed on key techniques used in modern biomedical research. And this summer lab is then followed by, a bioinformatics lab, as well as additional lecture and elective courses in the fall, all of which sort of like broaden your experimental and theoretical skill set by training you in, bioinformatics and offering you additional courses for you to pick from. And then in your last semester, which is your spring semester, you will take on an internship and capstone project where you will work in a local biotech company or a campus lab or facility. And in order to, complete your degree, you will need to have taken 30 units of classes, and this consists of core lab courses, lectures, and elective courses. And you will also have completed the internship and capstone project requirements as well. So going into the specifics of our program's coursework, in the summer, you start by taking the first part of a CRISPR gene editing, stem cell, and genomics analysis lab. And the purpose of this lab is to, train you on CRISPR-Cas9 gene editing, stem cell culture, and key molecular biology techniques. And this intensive course allows you to get hands-on experience in crucial techniques commonly used in biomedical research, and then complements that with, hands-on training and lectures covering the theoretical and practical basis of those techniques. And so this course is, set up to train you to begin thinking like a scientist, where the experiments you perform are guided by like this big picture question, which forms the foundation for all of the smaller questions that you'll tackle in the course. And then that way, right, you not only understand the scientific concepts that underpin each experiment, but also begin to think about and understand how to frame your hypotheses and conclusions with respect to that, original big picture question. And so, just for fun, shown here are some beating cardiomyocytes that our students differentiated in culture during their summer lab course. And, that's just like a little preview of like one of the cool things that you'll be able to do, in the summer lab course. And so like from the summer lab, right, you'll have generated like a lot of data. And so what ends up happening is that in the second part of the CRISPR gene editing course, you'll actually, analyze the data that you've collected, including your own transcriptome data set, and then you'll, do a lot of data analysis and perform, bioinformatics analysis on that transcriptome data set. And then this bioinformatics lab is then, complemented by more professionally oriented courses. The first of which is designed to improve your communication skills, prepare you for job and internship interviews, and also give you the opportunity to explore the like variety of career paths that you could take. And we also have a second, professionally oriented course, which introduces you to like the breadth of the biotechnology field. And this course covers like the business of biotech, its regulatory framework, as well as the sort of like the range of therapeutic topic areas within the biotech field. And then lastly, you'll be able to choose an elective course to broaden your knowledge of topics that you're interested in. So in the fall semester, right, you'll not only continue to grow your experimental skill set while receiving professional training, you'll also continue to expand your conceptual understanding of biology as well. And then in your last semester, you'll take a drug discovery and automation lab course, which is like a short, intensive modular course with a hands-on element that will also introduce you to, the processes and regulatory framework that take a drug from like target identification to clinical trials to the patient. And then in the spring, you'll also take a, internship and capstone project course where you and your cohort, come back to campus on Fridays to come together and discuss your internships and, support one another as you take on your own individual internship projects. Okay. So that brings us to like the signature component of the MBT program, which is the spring semester internship. And so your internships will take place at a local biotech company or campus lab or facility. And sort of like what makes our internship program unique is that we establish partnerships with biotech companies within the Bay Area, who then create internship positions that you, as a student in our program, can actually apply for. And then this way, we lower the activation barrier to getting a coveted internship position and also help you get your foot into the door and, begin building up your professional network. And the general timeline for the internship is that in your fall semester, you will apply for internship positions with one of our partners. And as you apply, what we do is we arrange for representatives to come talk about their company's work. And then that way, you'll have an opportunity to hear from them and also connect with these representatives as you're applying for internship positions. And then our partners will screen through applications and then select you for an internship position, which will then begin in earnest in the spring. And then during your internship, you'll be performing full-time research under the supervision of an internship mentor. And we, continue to keep in contact with both you and your internship mentor in order to regularly check in on your progress and, just to make sure things are progressing well. And then that way, just to make sure that you'll meet all of your desired goals for your internship. And so the work that you do during your internship will then culminate in a capstone report and presentation that you will give towards the end of your spring semester. And so just to give you all a sampling of some of our partners, both in biotech and also on campus, I have some of them just, shown here on this slide. So our internship partners' missions can range anything from drug discovery to gene therapy to bioinformatics, as well as like basic research and high throughput screening as well. And if you ever have any questions as you're applying, like if you have questions on our internship program, you can always feel free to email our program office at mbt@berkeley.edu, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. All right. So to prepare you for like the next steps of your career, right? We provide a variety of opportunities for you to like plan and prepare for, the next steps. And so we have, right, our coursework gives you a chance to practice your communication skills, polish up your resume and also practice for interviews, all the while providing you with like the space that you need to like explore the breadth of the biotechnology field. And our master's advising office is also here to assist you as you, set your career goals and map out your next steps. And as a student here at UC Berkeley, you'll have access to extensive campus and departmental career resources as well. So our program not only, helps to strengthen your academic and technical background, but we also prioritize your career development as well. And so our program fee for the 2025 to 2026 academic year is currently estimated to be about 72,500 US dollars. This fee covers all campus fees, with the exception of the student health insurance fee, which you do have the option to waive. And if you have questions about fees, feel free to email our program office at mbt@berkeley.edu, and we can, answer any of the questions that you might have. And financial aid is available, and we encourage you to explore your financial aid options from campus aid to federal or international grants, as well as like student loans that can help, support you on your academic journey. And in terms of like housing, there are on-campus and off-campus housing options available to you. And most graduate students at Berkeley opt to live off-campus. And UC Berkeley, the cool thing about UC Berkeley is they also provide sort of like a bunch of resources for students to find housing, whether that's like on-campus housing or off-campus housing. And no worries if you're not able to copy all the links on this slide. A recording of this info session will be available also later on for you to like, go back and rewatch. And I also have listed here like other housing options, where you can find off-campus housing, through local listings on places like Craigslist or Zillow. And international students have the option to apply to live at the UC Berkeley International House, and that link is here. And again, I'll be sending out a recording of this info session later on. And so once you accept our offer of admission, what we do is we connect you with the rest of your cohort. And then that way you can all sort of like work together to find housing and roommates if that's like something you want to do with the rest of your cohort. Okay, now if you feel like our program aligns well with sort of like what you want to get out of your graduate studies, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over our admissions timeline, the application process, as well as our admissions requirements, to help make things a little bit easier and also to help you create a more competitive application. So our program's admissions timeline is shown here on this slide. As you all probably are aware, applications are currently open, and the application deadline for our program is January 15th, 2025 at 8:59 p.m. Pacific time. And once applications close and we do like the initial screening of applicants, we'll then send out interview notices towards the end of January to early February. And interviews will be, a Zoom or virtual interview, and we'll be sending out interview notices to select applicants. So you'll want to keep an eye out in your email inbox for interview notices shortly after applications close. And after we've conducted, the Zoom interviews, we'll send out all offers before the end of February, and you will have until April 15th to accept our offer of admission. And one thing that to note is for international students, you'll want to let us know that you've accepted our offer as soon as you can or as soon as you're ready. And then that way there's enough time to get your visa processed, because you want to keep in mind that our program is a summer start program and the deadline to let us know that you've accepted our offer is April 15th. So that leaves, a few months for you to, get your visa processed. All right. So before you apply, you'll want to review our admissions requirements and make sure that you're able to satisfy them. And I have them all sort of like summarized here on this slide. And you're completely welcome to apply if your undergraduate degree is not in biological sciences or a related field. So like regardless of your major of study, what we recommend is that you demonstrate to us in your application your readiness to take on our program's coursework. And you could do so through like showing us your required courses that you've taken, either through your undergraduate studies or at your undergraduate institution or at a local community college. And you can also demonstrate your readiness through like previous research or work experience that you might have had. And if you do have questions about our requirements and whether or not like your specific situation meets them, please reach out to our program email again at mbt@berkeley.edu, and we can help advise you on your specific situation. And so once you're ready to begin your application, you'll want to go to the Graduate Division application portal, and I have that link over here. And you can also find the link on our program website as well as on the Graduate Division website too. And if this is your first time applying, you'll want to create an account to start a new application. And the link for that is here. And please note that when you've completed your application, that you'll need to also have submitted an application fee, and the application fee is 135 US dollars. And this fee goes directly to the graduate division, so it's not something that we have any control over. And there are options available if you want to request a fee waiver, and you can find that information on the graduate division website over here. And so you'll need to either have a waiver or have paid your application fee in order to have your application reviewed. So you'll want to keep that in mind. Okay, cool. So after you've created your account and you started your application, you'll be greeted with some introductory pages at the start. And then once you get through those introductory pages, you'll be directed to select your intended program of study. And remember that our program's admit term is summer 2025. So if you select any other term, you will not be able to find our program under this dropdown for select program. So again, you want to make sure that you select summer 2025 for the admit term. And then that way you can find the Master of Biotechnology or MBT program under the select program dropdown menu. And then once you've selected that, you can see that, a little note will appear down here in the highlighted yellow text to remind you that our application deadline is January 15th, 2025. Again, so you want to keep that in mind as you're working on your application. And then, you'll go through additional pages where you'll fill out your personal information and your background information. And then you'll reach this page where you're going to be asked to provide your academic history as shown here. And this is where you'll list your undergraduate institutions that you've attended or are currently attending, as well as any associated academic records. And so for your applications, you can feel free to upload unofficial transcripts, but you'll want to keep in mind that once you've accepted our offer of admission, you will have to provide official transcripts to the graduate division for verification. And if there's, courses that you're currently taking that do not show up on your transcript yet, or courses that you're like planning to take, there's actually a small little field over here where you can enter courses that are in progress or do not appear on your transcript. And this is important, right? If there are courses that allow you to meet the minimum admissions requirements, or, just let us that allow you to demonstrate your readiness for our program. Okay. And then eventually you'll reach this GPA page where you'll be prompted to provide your GPA. And if your GPA is on a 4.0 scale, you can feel free to provide your cumulative GPA. And if your transcript doesn't show like your major GPA or your GPA for courses in major field of study, you can just feel free to leave that blank. And for those of you whose GPA is not on a 4.0 scale, you can feel free to leave this section blank and then just like fill in your GPA under the section other scale GPA. And we don't need you to convert your GPA to a 4.0 scale. Now, you'll have reached like the recommendations section of your application, as shown here on this page. We request that you have, two letter writers who can submit letters of recommendation on your behalf. And please note that letters must be submitted through the application portal. So we don't accept letters through like Interfolio or through email. What will happen is once you've entered your letter writers into the system, they'll receive a letter, sort of like a link from the application system where they'll be able to submit, the letter on your behalf. And so your letter writers should be able to speak to your academic and professional abilities. And it's best if your letter writer is like your research advisor or like a professor that taught a course that you've attended or a recent employer or supervisor. And your letters are important, right, to help the admissions committee better understand who you are, adding an additional perspective to your application. And then that way the admissions committee can judge your application holistically. And you might notice here, right, that the application requests like 3 letters of recommendation. But please note that you only need to submit 2 letters and 3 at most. We don't need you to submit any more than 3 letters of recommendation. Okay, so on this page, you'll be prompted to provide any exam scores, and this is sort of like your self-reported exam scores section. For international students who have received their degrees in countries whose official language is not English, you will need to provide your evidence of English language proficiency here. And that's either the TOEFL or IELTS, or evidence of at least 1 year of full-time academic coursework from a US university. And you also want to make sure that if you're entering your TOEFL or IELTS, that you also have your official score sent to UC Berkeley as well. There will also be a section over here if you want to submit your GRE or GRE subject test scores. Please note that it is optional. So, if you don't have them, that's totally fine. But if you do want to upload it, we welcome you to do so. All right, so on this page, you'll be prompted to submit two statements as part of your application package. The first statement is the statement of purpose, and the second is your personal history statement. And both of these statements are important to allow the admissions committee to, get to know who you are as a person and also evaluate your potential to succeed in our program. And you'll want to, keep your statements concise. So like your personal history statement should be a maximum of half a page, while your statement of purpose should be a maximum of 1 page. And your statement of purpose should give, the committee a picture of your academic background and future career goals. And it should allow them to understand how our program aligns with your stated interests and also allow the admissions committee, to understand what your motivations are for pursuing a MBT degree here at UC Berkeley. And you can also feel free to include your experience working in labs or any academic or research setting, as well as other experiences that might have influenced your decision to pursue a master's degree. And then your personal history statement provides us with, additional information about who you are and also gives the admissions committee an opportunity to connect with you on a more personal level. And so you want to remember that you want to keep both your statements concise. So for your personal history statement, a maximum of half a page, and your statement of purpose, a maximum of 1 page. And then on this page, what you'll see is a sort of like an MBT specific part of the application. And on this page, we just ask you to provide evidence of relevant courses that you've taken. And these are just guidelines. So if your home institution offers a similar course, but it's not like exactly the same, that's totally fine. We understand like different institutions might offer different types of courses. And what you'll see is like there's organic chemistry listed over here, but organic chemistry is not absolutely necessary. So if you have like a strong general chemistry, biochemistry, or like physical chemistry background, you can also feel free to let us know here in this section. And we also encourage you to let us know, if you've taken other biology related courses, such as like cell biology or biochemistry, you can also add them to this section too. And then on the supporting materials page, you'll be given an opportunity to provide your CV or resume, as well as any publications or any honors or awards that you might have received. Okay, so hopefully this info session has helped you get a better picture of sort of like our program and provided you with some useful tips for creating a competitive application. And if you want to connect with us, you can feel free to do so through email or our social media pages, which are shown here. And if you want to explore more of our program, you can also go to our website and you can find more information there as well.